Hello everyone, Krydax here, and welcome to the channel update number 12. I'm going to actually try to do this one in one take, which is not what I normally do. I normally edit it down and make sure I'm kind of saying things succinctly, but this one's going to be a little bit of a different tone. So I'm hoping to do it in one take. I might end up, goofing something and have to cut out a piece, but we'll see if we get there. So yeah, today I want to do Patreon shoutouts as usual, and most of this episode is going to be talking about my life updates, which I've alluded to in some of my videos and talked about on Discord. So you guys are probably pretty curious, and I'm going to finally kind of give some answers here that feel appropriate. So we're going to be diving into that, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the other series that have been going on and what's next for the channel at the end. But first, Patreon shoutouts. Quick reminder that Patreon is the best way to support the channel. It also might not be the time to join, or maybe it is the time to join. It depends on why you're joining and why you're supporting me. And I want to shout out all the people that have joined since the last channel update, which has been quite a few. We've got Galek, Oodles, which is supposed to be spelled with a Z. I screwed that up. Nikuwo, Tactical Fruit, 2-Bit Sprite, Minion 75, Llama, Aragon 4994, I'm Solid Gold, The Lelo, Sounder, and Pionic Shambles. Thank you all so much for your support. It really has meant a lot. Doubly so in this season. So yeah, this is a complex life topic update, and part of why I've taken this long to make this video is because I wanted to make sure I kind of did it right, and part of it is because I also needed a few things to settle down in my life before I shared. And yeah, it's weird because on YouTube it's like I don't want to share everything. I don't think that's appropriate. I also don't want to share nothing, because that's not really who I am. Those of you that have been around me and my channel for a while know that I do care about real life stuff a lot more than video games. And despite video games being the platform that I have a channel on, or the foundation that I have a channel on, I guess YouTube's the platform, but the games are, a way that we engage with life, and I care about the life part a lot more. And whenever I get a chance to talk about real life and stuff that matters, that's really important to me. And I also have supporters on Patreon and people who, have supported me by watching my videos and engaging on the Discord. And I do feel like sharing nothing about why the channel's changing and stuff like that wouldn't be fully appropriate either, especially to people that are supporting me financially. So I think there is some amount of at least description of what's happening owed. I don't know if I owe the world any of the nitty-gritty details. I don't think I do. But I do think some amount of at least explaining what's going on is reasonable to expect. And I'm going to do a little more than that because I think I want to, not because I feel obligated to. But I'm just going to start with the basics. I'm going through a divorce, and it's not great. I mean, none are. That's a weird thing to say, but it's very unique. And I was married for almost 8 years, and for the most part, it was a marriage that I wanted, and it was good. And so this isn't oh, we just grew apart and thought it'd be better this way. It's not that simple or easy. And this has definitely been one of the hardest, no, not one of, this has been the hardest time in my life, of my whole life. It's been really hard. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. On the logistics side of things, the reason the channel's looked a lot different in recent month or so is because I've been pushed into needing to look for work, needing to figure out living situation. There's just been a lot of logistics. I might end up needing to get a roommate because rent is so freaking expensive, and I don't even have a job right now. And so those two things don't really add up. And even when I get a job, I probably still won't be able to afford rent by myself. So that's an uncomfortable reality that adds a lot of pressure and stress and figuring stuff out. Or I might just find an entirely new place to live, but I don't really want to move right now because that's a whole pain. So it's a lot of a mess. As any of you know who have dealt with anything similar, it's a lot of mess. And that's obviously taken a lot of energy from me. It's emotionally drained me, and especially Twitch streaming takes some emotional energy from me. And so that's why I haven't been streaming on Twitch. And yeah, I mean, needless to say, because of all these things, I can't be a full-time content creator anymore. Financially, it was only paying me about 1/4 of what I need to make to survive. And obviously that's not anywhere close to enough. Like, even if I doubled down and made more content and made sure I really engaged with like, okay, I'm going to actually schedule my streams perfectly. I'm going to like full-time job this like there's no tomorrow. I would maybe make 50% more money, would be my guesstimate on like the best I could do. Cause there's a little bit of a limit, right? Like I could release twice as many videos, but that's not going to make twice as much money, because a lot of the viewers that are viewing those videos are the same viewers, and they're not going to view twice as much content. And you know, I'm not going to get twice as many Twitch subs and twice as many patrons from making twice as much content. And that's where some amount of the money comes from too. So all of that put together, I think the best I could do is like a third of the money I need. And that's just not going to do it. I can't spend, you know, 30 to 40 hours a week or even 50 hours a week. Like I just can't spend all that time doing something that's not even making half of the money I need. So full-time content creation, because right now money is necessary for me to survive, is really off the table, which is a bummer, because I was really starting to feel like I was entering into a new phase of like getting excited about GT&H streams and things like that. I'll talk more about that. But yeah, there's just a lot in the air right now. I don't have all the answers for where things have settled, because they're not settled. And being unsettled is a level of stress and anxiety all on its own. I do suggest on that note that you guys reevaluate your Patreon support. If you're a Patreon supporter, you subscribed to the channel under a different pretense than what it is now, because my output is going to be lessened and it won't be guaranteed in the way that it was before, given that I was a full-time content creator. And I've never been perfect about like guaranteeing schedules and stuff, but when, at least in the last year, I feel like I've gotten a lot better about like when I say I'm going to do a stream or when I say I'm going to do this many videos, I generally have produced that. And I've actually felt much better about that in the last year compared to some of the earlier years where I would get really gung-ho and then not be able to deliver. I think that's gone a lot better in the last year, and I've been proud of that. But that's kind of going back to changing, because now this is back to being a little bit of like a hobby that passion project that I love, that I do appreciate some of the income from, but it's not enough income to really be my main gig, or even like half of my gig. All that being said, that's a lot of logistic stuff. I want to talk about the emotionality of this, the kind of life, the weight of all this, because this is a big deal. And I don't just want to breeze over it and not talk at all about it, because that's not really who I am. That's not the way that I want to engage with the world. This has easily been the hardest time of my life. There's no words around that. And in some ways, I'm just, you know, I'm a month or so into this process, and I'm just now beginning to even understand some of the weight of it. And there's lots more ahead of me that I know is gonna show up. I do have a therapist, and I already had one even before all this, which was great. And so I already had that connection and someone who knew me. And that's been really integral to kind of keeping me, you know, not in a perfect spot, because I'm not okay. If I were saying I'm okay, that would be a lie, and I shouldn't be okay, right? Nobody should be okay when they're going through something like this. But I have loving and supportive family and friends too. And so I've had some people around me. I've had a therapist, and I've had, you know, a lot of good structure around this. And it's just, at this point, it's a matter of time and the grieving process. Because something I want to talk a little bit about with this is, I know lots of people have either been through similar situations, or, you know, their version of this situation. It might not be exactly a divorce, but it might, you know, share some pieces. And I want to talk about grief for a minute, because first of all loss creates grief. Don't fool yourself. If you think it didn't matter to you, or if you lost something that was important, but you think, oh, it didn't really hurt me that much, like, you're probably fooling yourself. If something was important to you and it disappeared for any reason, it could even be for a good reason. You can lose, like, if you're like, I want to move from city A to city B, when you move to city B, there is grief over losing everything you had in city A, whether it was your home or your friends or your job, or even if it, like, whatever it was, even if you like the change and you wanted the change, there's still grief. So all that to say, it's a process. It's not something to just get over. Getting over it is not an emotionally healthy mentality, right? Like, it's not this idea of, oh, we lost this big thing that was integral to our lives, and now we're just going to move on as if it didn't happen. That's not really possible, and evidence shows this in 100 ways. That's not how humans work. Humans work on a much more convoluted level than that. It's not just this cut and dried, like, oh yeah, I'll spend 3 months grieving and then I'll move on with my life and I'll be back to normal. Like, the idea of going back to normal or getting over it, I just don't think those are helpful ways to look at these types of situations. Instead, it's this idea of, I'm going to travel alongside with my grief through this process. And on the other side of the darkest parts of grief, there's still going to be more grief, right? Like, it's not like a year from now I'm going to be like, oh yeah, there's no more pain left over, I got through all. It's like, no, there are darker times and then there are lighter times ahead. Yes, I'm not saying that the bad things never change. And it's just very important to not think that there's like a finish line with grief. And that's not how I'm seeing it. Because yeah, some parts heal. The pain will lessen over time. Like, time doesn't heal the wounds, but it certainly lessens pain, and it helps with, the acute stabbing wound feelings that these really hard things feel like. Those do decrease over time, but it's not because you're healed and you're fine, right? It's like, it leaves scars. Like, there are pieces that will always be there, and learning to walk alongside them and carry them with you rather than trying to act like they don't exist and then they drag you down later, I think is a much healthier way to approach it. So that being said, also the logistics, which are stuff I can't ignore to survive, is making it really hard for me to sit down and process all these emotions, because it's like, well, I need to find a job, I need to figure out what I'm doing about living situation, there's all these legal documents and all this and all that, and it's just so stressful. It's hard to even think straight sometimes. So dealing with all of those really emotionally heavy things, it's hard to find the space and time to feel like I can unpack that. So that's kind of where my life is at. It's very chaotic and messy right now. And then on top of all of that, if that wasn't enough, it feels like all of my friends and family are going through something that's massively difficult too. Like, literally all of them. There's not one friend I have who's like living the life, or even just fine. There's not even anybody that's like, yeah, like, things aren't perfect right now, but like, things are pretty good. Like, no, everyone's going through hard crap right now. And so that there's just a lot of weight. Like, it's a weighty, heavy time in life for me. And I just hope that I can be there for people and sit with them in their pain too, even though I'm going through my own. I don't want to make that make me blind to what's around me, and do what I can to help, whatever that looks like. And that's kind of my goal. Everyone's going through something is kind of my point here, and my hope is that we can all be kind and gentle and patient with people in their pain, and not try. Another thing that I do want to mention is that in our culture, and by our culture I mean Western culture, we're very quick to try to help other people get over it. Like, oh, well, at least you've got this going on, or at least, this didn't happen. And if you're saying the words "at least," you probably should stop talking. I'm being very firm about that. If you're saying, if you start a sentence with the phrase "at least" to someone who's in pain, you should probably stop talking and rethink why you're saying that. 9 times out of 10, probably more than that, it might be closer to 95 or 99 times out of 100, you're saying that. We say those words because we are uncomfortable with their pain, not because we're actually trying to help them, because they're not going to feel the joy of the, well, at least blank. It's like, no, they're going through tough stuff, and they need someone who can sit with them in that tough stuff. So that's my encouragement to all of us in this time, is to sit with others in their tough stuff, and be what we can be to travel with people in their journeys, rather than try to get them over it so that they can be happy like us again and get back to not thinking about these hard things. Like, there's just a lot of discomfort around these hard topics in Western culture, and we try to say things that move us back out of those hard topics. And I'm just encouraging all of us to sit in those a little bit more, because that can often be what really cares for people. And the way that people want to be cared for is to have someone sit with them and ask them about it, rather than ignore the fact that it happened. And I'm being vague about it because it could be anything here. It could be a death. It could be a loss. It could be a hard situation with a friend. It could be a physical, ailment. It could be just something emotionally hard for any number of reasons, stuff with kids, stuff with family, stuff with parents. The list goes on, right? So that's why I'm being vague about whatever it is. When you're being there for somebody, try to sit with them in those spaces. Yeah. So moving on, I do want to be very clear, because this is YouTube I'm talking to, the public, the internet of all things. So I'm not under any illusions here. I want to be very clear about how I ask you guys to comment on this, which is very little, and keep the comments to a positive and encouraging note to Krydax only. Please avoid any negativity for my ex-wife. I will delete comments that look like that. And avoid any direct advice to me, because you don't know my situation. I've shared a tiny portion with you, and there's so much of the why and the what and the how and the where am I going and what are my values that I care about for myself moving forward. All of those things I have not shared with you. And so you don't know those things. And therefore, whatever, even if you've gone through a divorce yourself, whatever your immediate thought is on like, man, I want to tell Krydax this because I wish someone had told me this. The hard part is it probably won't apply, because you just don't know enough about my situation to know what type of things might be helpful to tell me. And so I just encourage you to please don't do advice, like direct advice. Please don't do any negativity for her. Please just keep it to positive, encouraging notes to me. I don't mind that. But like I said, I am going to delete comments that don't really fit, because I want to keep this video in an uplifting light, because that's, again, who I want to be in the world. And so I don't want to be someone that's just, yeah. Anyway, just be careful with your comments. I do appreciate them, but under those pretenses. And also, I didn't share this with YouTube for advice. I didn't share it to get sorrow and sympathy. So like, I don't need you to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that happened. Like, you can leave a comment if that's how you feel, but you don't need to. I have people in my life for that. I don't need YouTube for that. And I shouldn't need YouTube for that. I don't think it's healthy if people are going to YouTube for that. I have real life supports in place. So I'm okay. I'll survive. I'm not coming to you guys as a plea for like, I need you, help me. I don't think that would be healthy. That's not a healthy YouTuber viewer relationship. And that's not what I'm looking for. So the reason I'm sharing all this isn't to get the sorrow, sympathy, likes, advice, whatever. It's to hope that my story can positively impact those around me, whether it's you or someone you know, or it can give you just a little bit of encouragement for how to care for those around you. Whatever it is, I'm just hopeful that my story in life can be impactful to those around me. And that's one of the main reasons I'm sharing as much as I am. As I said, I also wanted to update you guys because of Patreon support and things, but I wanted to go a little deeper because of hoping that my story can have a little bit of an impact. And it's not for money either. Like, I'm not just like, oh, like, woe is me, can you send me money, please? Like, no. In fact, if anything, I'm expecting people to unsubscribe from Patreon because of this. And I am totally okay with that, because people subscribe on Patreon for certain reasons. And if those reasons aren't being met, you should unsubscribe. I am a random internet person who makes gaming videos, and you're throwing money at me. Like, you do not need to keep doing that if I'm making less of the gaming videos, or I'm not making the videos that you care about, or you just don't want to throw money at me anymore. Like, you have no obligation to have a good reason to unsubscribe from Patreon. And so I'm not doing this to try to garner even more support. It's like, I do need it, but I'm not here to ask for it. Like, that's not appropriate. I don't know if that makes sense, but all that to say, don't feel any sense of like I'm asking more people to support or anything like that. I just want to make that really clear. But yeah, one take channel updates are weird. I don't have any time to transition between slides. So what's next? Well, the Pi series is going to continue as much as I can. I'm still really enjoying Pinedons. It's a lot of fun, and I'm just really like, I feel like I'm in a groove. and I'm really loving that. And it's part of most of my daily routine, which I've enjoyed. So I'm really hoping that that can continue regardless of what job I have next. But I don't know what that is, and I don't know what hours it's going to be. So it's possible that that throws a wrench into some of my norms, and I'll have to figure out new norms, and that may make it harder to get to the same number of videos. But like, it would take a crazy amount of stuff for me to just stop making pie videos. I am like really, as much as I can, because like, it wouldn't be crazy. Like, to get 2 or 3 episodes a week, like what would that really take? It wouldn't take much energy from me, and it wouldn't take that much time. So like, I'm pretty dedicated to keeping that going, even if it has to be reduced even more. Like, I'm gonna keep pie going. I'm very committed to that as much as I can be. I can't promise anything, but I'm really enjoying that. On the sad news, GTNH is fully done. I can't. I don't have the time, and I don't have the energy for that level of live streaming and the amount of time of live streaming. And that's really sad. I was just getting into like the vibe. Like, I was doing 2 to 4 streams a week all of a sudden, and I was really enjoying that. And I was like, I'm excited to keep this going and build up like a viewer base for GTNH that's into that, and have these streams and start to like keep going. And so I was really digging that. And I was really getting into it too. Like, I was really having fun with the mod pack. And when all of this kind of went down, like, because of obviously where my brain went and where my emotions went, it's just like the excitement for GTNH became like, oh, that feels like work. And so between that and the time and the energy, it can't keep going. So that is a bummer to me. And it also wasn't what I was planning on. And again, some of you might have joined Patreon because of the GTNH videos. So please feel free, do unsubscribe from Patreon. Like, you don't need to keep supporting me. And yeah, for now, I have no other plans for content or series because of all of this. 3 or 4 months from now, when things start to, I hope I'm a bit more settled 3 or 4 months from now. I say that like that's a magical number. I have no idea when I'll feel more settled. Hopefully by then I'll be a bit more settled, and I'll have some idea for what I want to do with the channel kind of moving forward into this next phase of life. Because my whole life has been exploded, and I've been doing the channel for 5 years, and I don't want to stop. But there's a world where I stop. I don't want to make false promises of like, oh, no matter what I do, I'm going to keep doing Krydania forever. Like, that would be silly, because that just might not be what my life looks like and what my life needs. So I'm reevaluating a lot of things for obvious reasons in my life. Just know that for now, I'm really enjoying Pyanodons. I'm really enjoying the community on the Discord. And that's something that has been built over 5 years because of you guys, the viewers. And so please, like, join the Discord and be a part of that. It's a really fun community. And, you know, part of me is like, I never want to lose that. So it's hard to imagine ever stopping the channel. But at the same time, I don't know what my future holds. So for now, thank you for being patient on this journey with me, because I don't have all the answers for the future. And I appreciate you guys being supportive and patient of that. So I don't have too much more to say. I managed, I guess, to make it through in one take. I don't know if all of that made sense. Again, please be careful with your comments. I do appreciate encouragement and positivity. Let's avoid the negativity. Let's avoid direct advice giving because you don't really know my situation. And I have people to go to for advice in real life. So I'm covered on that. But I do thank you for your well wishes. Really, you guys being this channel, it's been a huge part of my life, and I don't want that to change. And I've been having a lot of fun. So thank you for all being there. It's been a lot of joy in this dark season for me. And yeah, like I said, please feel free to join the Discord. If you want to have a private chat with me, feel free. I don't have any walls there, so just join the Discord and send me a message, and I'll chat with you. If I start getting a lot of messages, or like, I only have so much time and energy to chat, but like, please message me. I want that to feel like an open door, because I generally am given energy by those conversations. And so yeah, so thank you all for watching this channel update. It's kind of a weird one, more about me than about the channel, but obviously the channel is kind of very reliant on me. So, you know, it's all related. But yeah, again, thank you guys for watching, and please leave a comment. You know, just making sure it isn't the type of comments I asked you not to leave. And I just, yeah, I look forward to keep doing Pi, and I look forward to whatever the future has. There's a lot of hard stuff in my life, but there's been some hope and some excitements for what's next as well. So I guess we'll see what happens. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.